Pokemon lovers, and welcome to another episode of Rating All Pokémon. What was I going to say? I don't remember, but that doesn't matter, because we're rating Pokemon today. One of them I find very useless, but we'll talk about that later. We're starting out with a Pokemon that I actually didn't realize was really fucking cute. It's Spoink. Spoink is a pig-like Pokemon that doesn't have legs, but it has a spring underneath its body with which it can bounce around. Now, the weird thing about this whole bouncing situation is that when Spoink bounces, its heartbeat keeps going. So if Spoink stops bouncing, it will actually die. Now, this is a bit weird because in the Pokemon anime, you never ever see Spoink bouncing, or maybe once or maybe twice, but not a lot because, I don't know, they just don't like to pay attention to the lore in the Pokemon anime. God. Another fun thing about Spoink is that the little pearl on its head is actually a pearl that comes from Clamperl, which is another Pokemon. Now, it gets really confused and will actually just take any round object and put it on top of its head. Doesn't really matter. It uses the pearl on its head to amplify its psychic powers, which is really cool. Pokemon Emerald says, a Pokemon that manipulates psychic power at will. It doesn't stop bouncing even when it is asleep. It loves eating mushrooms that grow underground. It's like one of those truffle-finding pigs, only it doesn't have legs. Doesn't seem very convenient for digging, but maybe, I don't know. It probably has its ways. Now here's a bit of an interesting thing that is written on Bulbapedia that I am slightly confused about, and that is that Spoink and its evolution may be loosely based on a biblical text, which is the following text. Neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. From Matthew 7:6, or however you say that. Pokemon should never, ever, ever be associated with the Bible, in my opinion. It just doesn't seem right for some reason. So in this biblical text, it says that the pearls were supposed to give wisdom to an audience that wouldn't appreciate it. It doesn't really make sense to me. I'm pretty sure that the pearl on Spoink and Grumpig's head is just to amplify its psychic powers. Another fun thing about Spoink is that it may actually be a literal translation of a spring pig, which means that pretty much in pig farming, a pig is best. It's best for a pig to give birth in spring. Now, how strange. The name Spoink comes from spring and oink, but here's a fun thing. The literal translation of the Korean name for Spoink is pig jump. That's super weird. Today I found out I actually really like Spoink, so I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. Then at level 32, Spoink evolves into number 326, Grumpig. Now, Grumpig is a bit of a downgrade to me, honestly. I wish its legs would still be springs, because now it can actually walk, which is lame. It should bounce. Bouncing is more fun. So Grumpig also has these pearls on its face and body, and it uses those to amplify its psychic powers. But while it is, like, charging its psychic powers, it does a really weird dance. This Pokédex entry tells a little bit more about that. Pokemon Emerald says, it stores power in the black pearls on its forehead. When it uses psychic power, it performs an odd dance step. Its style of dancing became hugely popular overseas. So weird. So Grumpig uses its dance moves to manipulate opponents. It is called the Manipulate Pokemon for that reason. And the only thing I could really find about its origins were the same as for Spoink, which is the whole biblical thing, which I try to distance Pokemon from. Is that me? I just don't feel like it should be any type of religion, honestly. It's just weird. Grumpig's name comes from Grump and Pig. It's all pretty obvious. I give Grumpig a 3 out of 5 because it's not as cool as Spoink, okay? It's just not. Number 327 is a standalone Pokemon. It's Spinda. Now, Spinda is a Pokemon that apparently all of them are different. They all have different patterns. Spinda is based on a panda with longer ears and also red spots. It's also based on the red panda, which is the tiny little panda that has unique face patterns, all of them do, so that is why the whole pattern thing happens. Now, Spinda looks kind of weird. It is kind of weird. It dances really confusingly. That's the way it just moves, and by doing these weird-ass moves, it confuses its opponents and then uses that moment to attack. But then it probably just bounces around and doesn't know where the heck it's going because it hasn't got eyes. Doesn't look like it does anyway. So in the Pokemon game, Spinda's spots are based on its personality values, which means that it has like a 1 in 4 gazillion billion to have the same spots as a different Spinda, which I think is really, really cool. Spinda's name comes from Spin and Panda, and that's about it. Give it a 4 out of 5. I'm just really sick of Spinda showing up in this suit before fucking Lava Ridge. Is it Lava Ridge? I don't remember. It's not Lava Ridge, is it? It's not. Still though, it's in my way. Get out. I'm trying to get to the other side. Stop attacking me. God damn it. It's cute though. Next up is probably one of the first Pokemon you'll encounter in the desert on Route 111. It is Trapinch. Now, today I found out, which I didn't actually know, apparently it's like a larvae, which it doesn't look like to me. It looks like a tiny head with a body. Trapinch is a desert Pokemon. It can go a week without having any water, which is pretty much a desert Pokemon thing. Trapinch is based on the larval state of the antlion, which is kind of like a dragonfly type Pokemon that shows in its next 2 evolutions. A fun thing about Trapinch is its French name. You see its big ass beak that looks like it could crack anything. It can actually crack boulders. But its French name is Craquenois, which comes from Craquenois, which is a nutcracker. That is really cool. So inventive. I love it. 4 out of 5. Next up, it evolves into Vibrava at level 35, and I feel like Vibrava is a bit of a pointless stage. It doesn't have like developed wings, which means that it can't really fly far distances, but it can use its wings to create vibrations that cause headaches for people. This stage just doesn't do much for me. If it just like went straight to Flygon, I would have been fine with that. It's a bit of a like, it feels like it's a filler of this evolution line. Just leave it out. Vibrava is a bit pointless to me, personally. Also, when Trapinch evolves into Vibrava, its stack stats go down and then they go back up again when it evolves into Flygon. Now, I just don't see the logic of why Vibrava exists. If you love Vibrava, please tell me why, because I'd like to know, because I seriously do not understand why it exists. Now, Vibrava is based on the adult stage of an antlion, which is dragonfly, blah blah blah. Vibrava is a dragon and ground type because of the whole dragonfly thing, and that is really it. 2 out of 5. Holy shit. At level 45 though, Vibrava evolves into Flygon, and Flygon is really fucking cool. It is a ground/dragon type dragonfly. Wait, just like Vibrava. Why does Vibrava exist? Seriously, why? So Vibrava lives in the desert, and it can create like these sandstorms where it hides itself, but when it does that, his wings make like a singing sound, which give Flygon the name the Desert Spirit. Now, I think that is really, really, really cool. Flygon is a Pokemon of which I really like the design. It's not really the type of Pokemon you'd expect to be a dragon type, but you know, the whole dragonfly thing, and I just think they made such good choices design-wise for Flygon that I am just... And I don't even like dragonflies. They scare me. So Flygon was actually intended to have a mega form, but Ken Sugimori actually got a artist's block and never came up with anything for it. Now that's kind of sad. I would have loved to see a Flygon mega evolution, but you know what? Shit happens. Flygon's name comes from fly and dragon. It's pretty obvious. Give it a 5 out of 5. I really, really like Flygon. I just wish I didn't have to go through the Vibrava stage. That was it for today, my Pokemon-loving friends. I had a lot of fun doing this episode. I'm not sure why, I just really enjoyed it. If you enjoy my content, please do something. Tell your mother. I wish you all a very good week. Pokemon Sun and Moon are gonna drop tomorrow for me, fucking finally. And I will be AWOL for quite some time because I will be on that shit for weeks. But I'm gonna try to entertain you nonetheless because Pokemon. Bye guys. Now Spoink is a hair. If Spoink ever stops bouncing,